You know that feeling? A sudden chill on a cool autumn evening? Or this weird sense of connection to a place you've never even been before? Well, today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea from folklore that tries to explain that exact feeling: the belief in a thin veil between our world and the past.
This question, man, it really gets the heart of so many myths and traditions, doesn't it? It's this idea that time isn't just some straight line marching forward, but it's something you can actually feel. That the past isn't really gone, it's just listening. And that's the core concept we're going to unpack today.
Okay, so before we can even get into the when or the why this might happen, we've got to get a handle on what this veil actually is. Let's start by defining this symbolic barrier between worlds.
So what exactly is the thinning veil? First off, it's not a physical wall you can go out and touch. Think of it more like a symbolic, delicate membrane. It's what separates our everyday reality from these other realms. You know, the world of memory, of spirit, of our ancestors. And the key idea here is that this barrier is permeable. At certain times, it's believed something can actually pass through.
And that is the absolute crucial point. This isn't about a literal physical barrier. It's a really powerful metaphor for how we relate to time and memory. It's a story we tell ourselves to make sense of those strange feelings, those echoes from the past, that sense that we're part of something way, way bigger than just our own little lives.
Okay, so if this veil can get thin, it brings up a pretty fascinating question. When? When does it happen? Well, folklore suggests it's not random at all. It's actually tied to a kind of cosmic clock that marks very specific moments in the year.
And that's the key. It's not just some random thing. Cultures all across the world point to these specific, almost predictable moments when that connection feels the strongest. So, come on, let's take a look at what those moments are.
This whole concept is woven into cultures all over the planet. We see it in Samhain, the old Celtic festival that eventually became the Halloween we know today. It's totally central to Dia de Muertos, which is all about honoring ancestors. And you even see it during the solstices, you know, the absolute peaks of light and darkness. The common thread that ties all of these together? It's transition. Now, this isn't just a random collection of holidays. It's a rhythm, and it's deeply connected to the Earth's own cycle. You can see right here how these moments line up perfectly with the great turning points of the seasons, the equinoxes and the solstices. These aren't just dates, they are moments of huge, profound natural change. So the big takeaway here is that we're not just talking about dates on a calendar. They represent a fundamental shift in the natural world around us. You know, the days getting shorter, the harvest finally coming in, the land itself just going quiet for winter. And it's right inside these powerful transitional moments that the veil is believed to be at its absolute thinnest. All right, so we've covered the what and the when, but that leaves the most mysterious question of all, right? If something actually comes through this thinning veil, what is it? What exactly are these echoes from the past?
I really love this old folk saying. It just perfectly captures the whole feeling of this concept. It's not about ghosts jumping out and yelling boo or anything like that. It's much more subtle. It's about a sense of connection, of messages or feelings that just seem to be coming from somewhere else.
These echoes, they're often described in three pretty distinct ways. It might start with a sense of heightened intuition, you know, that unshakable gut feeling. It can also show up in our sleep through these incredibly vivid dreams, maybe ones where we connect with relatives who've passed on. And finally, there are the messages, those meaningful coincidences, the synchronicities that seem to guide us, almost like a quiet little nod from our own history.
All of this, it leads us to the biggest question of all: why? I mean, why is this idea of listening to yesterday survived for so long across so many different cultures? What basic human need does it speak to?
It's a really fascinating question when you stop and think about it, isn't it? This isn't some modern invention. This is an ancient, cross-cultural belief. There has to be some deeper human need that this whole concept fulfills.
And what's really cool is how the meaning of this veil has kind of evolved. In ancient times, the belief was often way more literal. Like, this was a chance to actually communicate with gods or spirits to make sure you had a good harvest. But today, it resonates a bit more psychologically. For us, it's become a time for connecting with our heritage, our family stories, and just reflecting on our own place in that long chain of history. And ultimately, I think this is the real takeaway. The thinning veil is just a beautiful metaphor for an essential truth. The past is never really gone. It can't be, because it lives on inside of us. Our ancestors, our history, our collective memory, All that stuff shapes who we are in this very moment. So whether you see this as ancient folklore, a beautiful metaphor, or maybe something more, the idea of the thinning veil really invites all of us to do one thing, just to pause and to listen. And it leaves us with a really powerful question to think about. If you could hear an echo from your own past, what would you ask?